Season 4 of Stranger Things was filled with so many amazing moments, but which ones were the best of the best? Today, I'm going to give you my top 10 favorite moments in Stranger Things Season 4. Kicking us off at number 10, Goodbye, Papa. At the end of episode 8, the man who had been trying to find 11 throughout the entire season, whose name I can't remember at the moment, but he looks like this, finds the place where Brenner and Owens had been keeping 11 to help her get her powers back. He attacks the place. Brenner tries to carry her out and rescue her to keep her safe, but he unfortunately gets shot in the process. And in his final moments, he tells 11 that he loves her and that he has always wanted what was best for her. It's nice to finally get some sympathy for this character. It is one of the only times in the series, maybe the only time, that we actually feel sympathy for his character. And if the Duffer Brothers have the power to make us feel sympathy for this character, then that moment definitely deserves a spot on the top 10 list. Number 9, Victor Creel's story. After Eddie's uncle, Mr. Munson, tells Nancy about a man named Victor Creel who supposedly killed his entire family in the 1950s, saying that he's probably the one behind the murders this time, Nancy decides to follow this lead and go talk to Victor herself. So she and Robin go to the place where Victor is being kept, and they talk to him to get the truth. They learn that he was not the one that killed his entire family, but it was something else entirely different. He mentions how he thought it was meant to torture them. It took joy in tormenting them, and that it left him alive as punishment after killing his wife and his daughter, and he thinks it killed his son, but we later find out that is not true. I'll get to that in a minute. Victor is played by Robert Englund, known for his portrayal as Freddy Krueger in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, and his performance makes the scene that much better. It is a scene that produces more questions than answers, which in my opinion actually makes it that much better, and it finally it sets up that payoff when we finally learn the truth at the end of episode 7. Number 8, Hopper's fight with the Demogorgon. While being held prisoner in a prison in Kamchatka, Russia, Hopper and a bunch of other prisoners, including Enzo, are thrown into a gladiator-esque pit to go toe-to-toe with a Demogorgon, basically trying to kill off a bunch of the prisoners that are being held captive. Though they all have weapons like swords and all that stuff, a lot of the prisoners get killed off in no time, getting their heads bitten off by the creature, and the only one who knows how to defend himself properly is Hopper. Knowing that the Demogorgon's only weakness is fire, Hopper lights his spear on fire, using it to keep back the creature, buying them enough time for himself and Enzo to get safely behind the doors. When it seems like the Demogorgon is about to burst open the doors to get to them, Hopper throws its spear at the Demogorgon, getting inside its mouth and really making it mad in the process. But for the time being, they are safe until Hopper later kills the Demogorgon, that I will get to in just a second. But this just first fight, round 1, is just, in my opinion, one of the best fight scenes. You got Joyce and Murray trying to help them in the process, trying to open up the doors, and it's an action-filled scene Um, it's really good. So I like it. It comes in at number 8. Number 7, Flambe. In the season 4 finale, Nancy, Robin, and Steve plan to get to the attic of the Creel house in the Upside Down to kill Vecna while he is defenseless, trying to kill Max in his own little red smoky lair that we see throughout the season. Robin and Steve light it on fire while Nancy shoots him with a shotgun. All 3 characters get their moment to take a hit at him. It's a great scene, and at the same time that this is going on, Hopper is in the prison cutting off the head of a Demogorgon, finishing off the creature. Round 2, going round 2 with it. It's a great scene. That's why it makes my top 10. It's very action filled, and just when you think it worked, it's revealed that Vecna actually escaped, so it kind of leaves that nice cliffhanger at the end. I like it, so it comes in at number 7. Coming in at number 6, I have Chrissys Death from episode 1. Really, you could group all of Vecna's kills into one, but Chrissys is my favorite out of all because this is the first time that we have ever seen anything like this in Stranger Things, and Chrissys' death is one of the most shocking and violent deaths we've ever gotten in Stranger Things. It is almost hard to watch as her arms, legs, and jaw snap and her eyes are pulled out of the back of her head, and that surprise is what makes this scene one of my favorites. It is shocking, it is surprising, and you do not see it coming. So it comes in at number 6. Starting off our top 5 is Eddie Munson's introduction. Eddie is one of my favorite characters in this entire show, and this is such a great introduction to his character. You immediately see how likable and, kind of crazy he is as a character. You immediately know what you're in for anytime this character is in a scene, and I love it. Many people, including myself, immediately fell in love with this character from this first scene, and it is not hard to see why. Following that, at number 4, I have Dustin's talk with Mr. Munson in the season finale. Near the end of the season finale, Eddie unfortunately dies. He is attacked by bats in the Upside Down and dies of his wounds, which, that alone, Eddie's death, it was between Eddie's death and this scene making my top 10, but ultimately I went with this scene. Dustin sees Eddie's uncle, Mr. Munson, putting up missing posters for Eddie at the donation center where they are volunteering, and Dustin goes over and talks to him, giving him the unfortunate news that Eddie did not make it, and he gives Mr. Munson the guitar pick necklace that Dustin had used to play his final song, which I'll get to in a minute. And it's one of the most emotional scenes in this season. Dustin talking to Mr. Munson about how he wished that more people had gotten to really know what Eddie was like and who he really was, because they would have absolutely loved him. And they would have. I absolutely agree with that. If more people had really gotten to know who Eddie was, instead of just automatically assuming he was a freak and they didn't want to be friends with him, I really think that a lot of people would have really loved him, just like how lots of people watching the show absolutely loved Eddie as a character. So just this moment between Dustin and Mr. Munson is, like I said, one of the most emotional scenes in the season, at least in my opinion, and it is one of my favorites, so it comes in at number 4. Starting us off into the top 3, I have Max's first escape from Vecna. Regarded by many as the best moment in this season, I have it at number 3. It's not quite my favorite, but it is one of my favorites. And so at the end of season 4, not the end of season 4. At the end of episode 4, Dear Billy, Max is sitting at Billy's grave, reading a letter that she wrote about how she misses him and how everything has kind of been a disaster for her ever since he died. And just when it starts to get emotional, Vecna captures her and to try and kill her, try and claim her as his next victim. And the group knows that something is wrong. They all huddle around, and earlier when talking to Victor Creel, Nancy and Robin had gotten the idea that music might be a way to bring people back and kind of reclaim them from Vecna's grasp. So they test out the theory and they play Max's favorite song, Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush, whose song listens have gone up, I think, over 6,000% since the episode came out, which is absolutely insane to think about. So anyway, moving on. The song, playing the song, is able to distract Vecna long enough for Max to kind of disarm him, like ripping off one of his tentacles, whatever they're called, to hurt him so she can run away. She runs back to her friends, and this moment is where you almost kind of know that Max isn't gonna die yet because we're only halfway through the season, but it does get to a point where you're worried. You're like, maybe is this the end for Max? Is this where Max dies? You're worried for her safety. You're worried if she really is going to make it out, and that tension is what makes this scene so unforgettable and one of my favorites in the season. My runner-up favorite moment in this season is Vecna's origin reveal. At the end of episode 7, The Massacre at Hawkins' lab, Eleven removes a chip from Henry's neck, not really knowing what it does or what it means. She just wants to help because he's been helping her the entire season. And it leads to one of the most shocking reveals in all of Volume 1 and really in all of Season 4, in my opinion. We learn that Henry is he was the first of Brenner's kids, of Powers. He's what inspired Brenner to start this experiment and get other kids. And so we learn that Henry's one, and we also learn that he is Henry Creel, also, the son of Victor Creel. He was the one that killed his mother and sister all those years ago, sending his father to prison. And we learn that he is Vecna because 11 forced him into the Upside Down. She didn't know what she was doing. She was just trying to get rid of him. She probably thought she killed him for a super long time. But it is one of the most mind-blowing reveals in the entire season. Jamie Campbell Bower does a fantastic job in the role, which in my opinion is really a big part of why this scene is so good. He does such a great job in the role. He does throughout the entire season, but specifically in this moment, he's fantastic. Just this scene, this is the scene that I was thinking about most before Volume 2 came out. I couldn't get enough of it. I rewatched it several times. I still am. I have rewatched it several times. I think it's the scene that I've rewatched the second most, next to my number 1. It's a great scene. It is mind-blowing, and it would be number 1, except for number 1, Master of Puppets. As if we didn't all love Eddie enough, he has to come out with, in my opinion, the best moment in the entire season, the most unforgettable, the most just puts a grin on your face when you see it. Just in the first 2 seconds, you know it's going to be amazing. We have seen glimpses of Eddie rocking out on his guitar in the Upside Down since the very first trailer for this season, and it was my most anticipated scene going into this season. When it didn't show up in Volume 1, I was like, alright, I gotta wait another month for it. I was kind of disappointed, but it delivered. It was so worth the wait to see this scene for the first time, and it is incredible. It pays off. It is the scene that I've rewatched the most coming out of watching this entire season, and I will probably continue to watch it more. So what do you get when you combine my favorite character in a show and one of the best rock songs in history? You get my number one moment in Stranger Things Season 4. So there you go. There are my top 10 moments in Stranger Things Season 4. What did you think of this video? Let me know down in the comments. What was your favorite moment in Stranger Things Season 4? Or better yet, just go the extra mile and give me your top 10 moments in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing because I have a lot more videos just like it coming very soon. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, share this video with your friends and family, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.